This is London.
Take you now to London.
This is London.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall. Introducing first, at a total combined weight of 30 stone and 6 pounds, the team of Danny Garnell and the LDN British champion, the notorious Mr. John Ritchie.
Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to LDN Capital TV. My name, of course, John Atkins, and what a show we have got for you tonight, and indeed, what a matchup to kick things off. A rare tag team appearance by the LDN British champion, the notorious John Ritchie, and his tag team partner here tonight, Danny Garnell. They are taking on a young duo of Alan Lee Travis and Hakan. Not a particularly experienced combo. Nonetheless, they took Tag Champs Project Future to the limit just a couple of weeks ago, right here on LDN Capital TV. But John Ritchie holding on to that British Championship, the big gold belt, and one has to wonder quite why he is taking on this tag team matchup. John Ritchie very proud indeed of that British Championship. He has held on to it since the start of 2007. Through fair means or foul, he has defeated the likes of Ash, Tex Benedict, Yorgos and Mike Mendoza. And he has held on to that championship for the better part of 12 months. Here tonight in tag team competition with the young Danny Garnell. Another man cut from the same cloth.
And a total combined weight of 28 stone, 9 pounds. The team of Alan, Lee Travis and Hakan Sosberen.
And we saw their referee Chris Roberts having stern words with John Ritchie. And I don't know for sure, but I would imagine he is saying, I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on you indeed, John Ritchie. As I was saying, John Ritchie happy to win a match by fair means or foul. Danny Garnell, another wrestler cut from the same cloth. But making their way to the ring, two wrestlers with a very bright future indeed. The young team of Hakan and Alan Lee Travis. Only a couple of matches here on Capital TV to date. But they had a very good matchup indeed against the Tag Champs Project Future, and they took the champions to the limit. They are young, but they are eager, they are hard-working, and they are very willing to learn. And more importantly, they backed down from nobody. They were offered this matchup here tonight. Many lesser teams would have turned it down. They'd have walked away. They'd have said, no, we lack the experience. But not Hakan and Lee Travis. They said, yes, please, we will take this one. We want a chance to prove ourselves on a big scale. We want to be seen on Capital TV. We want to be watched on TWC Fight. We want our fans in Canada to see us. It's a big opportunity, and we want a chance to wrestle the British champion John Ritchie. It is a huge opportunity for Lee Travis and Hakan. Just imagine what a win here tonight would do for their standings. Not just in the tag team division, but in the LDN in general, in British wrestling in general. It is a big opportunity for Alan Lee Travis and his tag team partner Hakan. But they are more than matched by their opponents, Danny Garnell and the notorious John Ritchie, the LDN British champion. And we can see the eager looks on the face of Lee Travis and Hakan. They just want to get this one underway. And quite the reverse is the case for Danny Garnell and John Ritchie. They were taking their time getting in the ring, taking their time getting this matchup underway, but the matchup has begun, the bell has rung. And Lee Travis with a wrist lock on Danny Garnell, who clenches his fist as if to use a closed fist, a punch on Hakan, but referee Chris Roberts in a good position. He said, don't you even think about it. Don't even think about it. A closed fist, of course, is illegal in British wrestling. And a punch would have caused an instant disqualification for the team of Garnell and John Ritchie. Nice roll through there by Hakan. Goes for the hammerlock. And so far he is out wrestling the more experienced Danny Garnell. And Garnell and John Ritchie may well have overlooked. They may well have underestimated their opponents here tonight. Make no mistake, they certainly are more experienced. But Hakan and Lee Travis are hungry. They want to make a name for themselves. And if it's at the expense of Garnell and the champion, then so much the better. Danny Garnell and John Ritchie, of course, they are no strangers to each other. Garnell has often aligned himself with the British champion. Indeed, it was partly thanks to the interference of Danny Garnell that Tex Benedict was unsuccessful in his last shot at the British Championship all those months ago before he went on an extended sabbatical. It was the outside interference of Danny Garnell and, of course, the 32-stone humongous. It was too much for Tex Benedict to overcome. And as a result of that match, Benedict re-evaluated his entire career in wrestling to date. And now the hot-headed Alan Lee Travis, desperate to get in the ring due to the illegal tactics of Garnell and the double teaming by the champion John Ritchie. Chris Roberts rightly trying to keep him out of the ring. But unfortunately for Lee Travis, and more unfortunately for Hakan, the double teaming continues on the outside, and I think John Ritchie is choking out Hakan with a towel. And I don't care how good you are or how hungry you are, if you're being choked up by a towel, there is nothing you can do to escape that. And Hakan has had the air taken out of his body now. He has been choked out. And Garnell drops the leg across the chest. And indeed, I believe, across the unmentionables. And Hakan taking quite the pounding. And if you notice, Danny Garnell has wrestled the entire matchup for his tag team. John Ritchie happy to put the boot in on the outside, happy to choke the man out with a towel from the safety of the ring apron. But it is only now that Hakan is totally down that John Ritchie comes in for the very first time. And even now, he is using illegal double team maneuvers, just crotching the young Hakan on that ring post. And now it is Danny Garnell back in the ring. I beg your pardon, sorry, John Ritchie back in the ring. And he just stomps the eyes of Hakan. And John Ritchie so far, very dominant over the youngster. Big European uppercut, may have been a closed fist, but as usual, Ritchie uses his own body to hide the clear view from the referee and from our cameras here at ringside. Very experienced man is John Ritchie, and one has to wonder why he teams with Danny Garnell. My personal theory is that John Ritchie often likes to keep those that he considers a threat to his championship belt close. It's like they say, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. And Danny Garnell, a very, very promising up-and-comer, despite his somewhat shaky moral outlook on life. Danny Garnell is a top star here in LDN, make no mistake. And if he wanted to, he would be a very serious threat indeed.
These are dangerous days. These are dangerous days.
John Ritchie likes to keep men who may be a threat very close indeed. And that is why he aligns himself with the likes of Danny Garnell. Why he's happy to keep the 32 stone humongous in his corner. Big pile driver there from Garnell. That could be all, and it should have been all. Let's take a look at that replay. A beautiful pile driver. And he was planted square on his skull. And Hakan has taken... He has wrestled the entire matchup. We are yet to see Lee Travis, but here's a tag. And in comes Lee Travis. And thank goodness for Hakan that he got that tag when he did. Because he is absolutely knocked out as a result of that big pile driver. And Lee Travis now the fresh man. And Garnell quick as a flash tags in. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Lee Travis went for the flying crossbody block. John Ritchie sidestepped it. And Travis just flew across the ring and landed flat in the opposite corner. Referee Chris Roberts breaks it up. But of course, Garnell again with the double team on the outside. And the illegal chokehold. Oh, and a big low blow there. A big low blow. And Travis, who was the fresh man just moments ago, has already been put through his paces. He missed that crossbody from the top. He was choked on the outside by Garnell. A big low blow from John Ritchie. Oh my, and another leg drop there now. And Garnell tagging in, Garnell and John Ritchie. Not the most experienced tag team in the world, but they certainly wrestle a similar style. And they certainly have their own opinion of the rules of wrestling. They see it as something elastic, something to be stretched and molded to suit their own needs. Our referees do a great job here in LDN, but they've only got one pair of eyes. And in a tag team situation, there's just not much they can do when you've got an experienced team like Garnell and John Ritchie doing everything they can, doing everything in their power to break the rules, to twist the rules. Oh, but Travis held on, and now Travis gets the tag. In comes Hakan. Big roll up there. That could be all. It's a nice roll up. He certainly caught Danny Garnell off guard. Now he goes for the crucifix again. The shoulders are pinned. 1 and a 2. And a very close 2 count. And this may be the only way that Hakan and Lee Travis will get the win. They have to use their speed advantage. They have to be willing to do anything they can. And a standing shooting star press. That might be enough. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable athleticism there from the young Hakan. But you see him clutching his neck, holding his head. He is still feeling the effects of that devastating pile driver from minutes ago. And you see he looks over to his corner for the tag. But Travis is nowhere to be seen. Travis is already knocked out as well. He has taken one heck of a beating. Hakan trapped in the middle of the ring. Danny Garnell goes for that. Looks like a chokehold to me. Referee trying to get in. Referee is trying to get in. He is trying to see if that is a choke. He is trying to see if the oxygen supply has been cut off. And again, Garnell, much like Ritchie before him, uses his own body to shield the view of the referee. And even to shield the view of our cameras. And while the referee distracted by John Ritchie on the outside, Danny Garnell hoists up Hakan. And John Ritchie is up top. And this is very, very rare for the British champion to go up top. But Danny Garnell hoists the youngster up. And John Ritchie comes off top. There's a cover. And it's all over. Out outmatched and outclassed, but they gave it their very best shot. A big win here tonight for Danny Garnell and the notorious John Ritchie, the LDN British champ. They may have been outmatched, but they have got nothing to be ashamed of. It was a great performance there by Alan Lee Travis and Hakan. They have got a bright future ahead of them, but their day is not yet here. A win here for the notorious John Ritchie and his tag team partner tonight, Danny Garnell. Nothing to be ashamed of though for Alan Lee Travis and Hakan.
This time it's my pleasure to introduce Johnny Kidd. Thank you very much for your time. Only a couple of weeks ago you won the Golden Grappler tournament, beating Yorgos in a huge tournament that took place over 6 months. How do you feel?
I feel really good. I mean, there was a lot of good wrestlers in that competition, apart from obviously Yorgos, Stevie Gray. I know Tex Benedict was in it. Actually, I beat Tex Benedict.
Didn't he in the first round? Yeah.
The younger guys I've got to be a bit careful with because they can match me on most things, but I say I've got a bit more experience than them.
Absolutely.
And I can sort of like know one or two more tricks. People like Stevie Gray, obviously, I had a tough time with Steve. I was lucky to come out on top of that one. Good wrestling match. Yorgos pushed me a bit there, and I had to push back to make sure I keep on top of him. And I came out on top, even though I leaned on him a little bit. I mean, it was a good match, but I say he did push me all the way. And I think I deserved it in the end to win that.
Absolutely, you had a fantastic match with Steve Gray at Waltham Abbey only a couple of months ago in the second round of the Golden Grappler tournament.
Yeah.
Very well received that contest was.
Yeah, Steve Gray is a man I've known over the years since I've been wrestling, obviously. Wrestled him many times, television times as well, the old World Sport days. Very rarely beat Steve, so that was a good first for me to beat him on an LDN show on the way towards winning this title.
You don't seem to talk very highly of Yorgos there.
I don't know what to make of him. I met him a couple of times. He's very good, and I had to be on my top form that night to beat him because I know he's up and coming with LDN.
Some would say you cheated.
Sanjay, come on, you know me. I mean, I leaned on him, yeah. Put a few moves on, but I thought if I don't get the upper hand on him, he'll do me. And I look forward to another shot with him sometime, but he's going to have to be good to beat me.
Fantastic.
But I do respect him in my way. You know.
That's fair enough. You took on Mal Sanders recently at a Gray's event. How did that match go?
Mal is someone again, I've wrestled many times, known him. He started around about the same time as me. Mal is different, sometimes he can wrestle, sometimes he'll lean a bit, and occasionally leaned on me. Could have gone either way, but Mal won it in the end, and that was fine, yeah. Mal was okay, but as I say, I was unsuccessful that evening.
Absolutely. You come from the World of Sport era when British wrestling used to be on ITV in front of millions of people, was taken off television, British wrestling declined. How have you been throughout that period and stuff, going from such a high then to a low when British wrestling was off television?
British wrestling came off in 1988, and that was the last televised match that was done not far from here actually. Yeah, I mean that was the end of it then really. It's unfortunate because a lot of the wrestlers these days, the up and coming lads, work for you and various promotions, don't get the publicity that they should probably, you know, and obviously people come to shows. In the old days they used to know us, household names, television, they knew you. These days it's very difficult for the lads to break into it, so they've got to work really hard, get the crowd knowing them, you know. With the television that you're doing at the moment, it does help. People are seen around.
How do you feel about the Americanisation of the sport?
Again, they've got their ideas, and I mean, I was always brought up with the British way of wrestling. I've always wrestled here, and obviously we can't compete with them. I mean, it's all razzmatazz. The audience is a different audience these days to how it was in the 70s and 80s when I started. But I say they do obviously a good job, and we have tried to copy them on certain things with music, ring entrances, things like that. Not so many round matches now, they're time limit matches. But as I say, yeah, they do all right, but I still prefer the British style. With you introducing the old round format again, that's very good, because I think it tells a bit of a story, you know.
Kendo Nagasaki with the red eyes. He's got these hypnotic powers.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall, representing Boston, USA, coming to the ring weighing at 12.5 stone, Tex Benedict.
Well, fans, it is main event time here tonight on LDN Capital TV. And this is somewhat unfamiliar music here on LDN. We are used to hearing the strains of the Stars and Stripes, the Star-Spangled Banner, of course, the US national anthem, and the familiar entrance music for Tex Benedict. But Benedict, of course, has undergone somewhat of an attitude adjustment in recent weeks and months here on Capital TV. He has turned his back on the fans. He has turned his back on his own friends. And he has made it clear that the only person he has any interest in whatsoever is Tex Benedict himself. Tex, of course, very proud of his Jewish heritage, and well, he might be. But my goodness, what an arrogant youngster he has become. We saw recently his matchup with Ash, and he made some very personal comments indeed about a man who used to be absolutely his best friend in the wrestling business. Tex Benedict, no mistake about it, he has had a tough time in this last year, but he has got some serious attitude problems at the moment. We will discuss that during the contest.
His opponent from Elton, South East London, weighing in at 17 stone, 6 pounds, Mike Mendoza.
Now here is a man that any LDN fan can be proud to know. Mike Mendoza, a great young athlete here in LDN, and unlike Tex Benedict, he has got a great attitude to go with it. Mendoza himself has had a tough year. He suffered what was thought to be a career-ending concussion and was forced to take over 2 months off wrestling. He was off Capital TV for several weeks, and when he came back, well, doctors basically said he may never wrestle again, and it was thanks to a very intensive personal rehabilitation program. Mendoza was able to overcome his own difficulties and once again become the top star that he is today. Benedict, as I've said, has had his own share of problems in the last 12 months, but unlike Mendoza, he has done nothing but whine about them. He has done nothing but complain about the bad hand that life has dealt him. He is a whinger and he is a moaner. But Mendoza, he is a grafter. He's a hard worker. And that is the difference between the two men. take a look at Mike Mendoza, full of confidence, and he looks to be back into the great shape that he was in before that serious injury he suffered at the hands of Garnell, who we saw, of course, earlier here on Capital TV. And this is a particularly interesting matchup as well, because both of these men wrestled each other very recently here on Capital TV after making their return from extended absences. Oh, Mendoza's not going to have any of that. He wants this matchup to get underway, and good for him. Good for him. But it was as a result of this matchup together that Mendoza has started making real waves and a real noise about possibly challenging for the British Championship somewhere in the not-too-distant future. Benedict, on the other hand, has simply started complaining louder and whinging about the rotten luck that he's had here in LDN. And he has had a tough time. At the beginning of 2007, the notorious John Ritchie stole the LDN British Championship away from him. And after a series of matches, Benedict has been unable to win it back. He was unable to win the championship back. Ritchie was officially awarded the belt, and Benedict slipped further and further out of contention for the championship. He had a terrible string of results towards the middle of the year. Then he had to step aside while his then best friend Ash got his shot at the championship. And in the end, it was just too much for Tex Benedict to stand. And he went back to his home country of the United States of America. For a couple of months, he simply turned his back on wrestling. He walked away from the sport. He said, "I've had enough." And it was touch and go whether he was ever going to come back to LDN. But he is back. And maybe he's living to regret that right now, because Mendoza's in great shape. And he has got his way here with Tex Benedict, and a big release power slam there. And Benedict goes to the outside, landing hard on the cold wooden floor. Benedict sent flying over the top rope there, and he can't believe it. But again, Tex Benedict, in my opinion, he has got no one to blame but himself. He has got no one to blame but himself. And you might not agree with me, but Mendoza has had just as bad hardships over the last 12 months. He has had just as many setbacks, just as many problems and injuries as Tex Benedict. But he hasn't complained. The adversity has made him stronger. And now Mendoza, a very, very serious contender for the British Championship. And John Ritchie has got a lot of big names chasing him at the moment. Yorgos, of course, has made waves in recent weeks. After big wins against Ricky Hype and Jonathan Hardwick, Yorgos has sent out a clear and unambiguous message to the champion John Ritchie. Jonathan Hardwick himself has got a very impressive win-loss streak here in LDN. And of course, Mendoza looking good tonight against Tex Benedict. So John Ritchie, make no mistake about it, is a marked man. There are many men here, many men in LDN who want a shot at that big gold championship belt currently around the waist of the notorious John Ritchie. And I dare say that whoever wins here tonight, be it Mendoza, be it Tex Benedict, either of them would be a very, very top contender for that championship belt. And Benedict backing off again from Mendoza. And it is a very cowardly Tex Benedict we are seeing here tonight. Not at all characteristic of the man who held that British Championship belt with pride in 2006. Mendoza just doing his best to wear Tex Benedict down, to shatter that resistance, but Benedict using his great schooling in wrestling, a great counter there. Benedict may deny it now, but he grew up on tapes of the world of sport legends. He loves traditional British-style wrestling. He is a great technician and a great scientific wrestler himself. Lovely takedown there of the lower knee. And again, continues to work on that injured joint. Benedict, as I said, a great scientist. He spots an injured joint and he works after it. He goes straight after it. He has found an opening now on the right leg of Mendoza, that knee particularly, and he's going straight after it. And as I said, love him or hate him, and whether you admire his attitude or not, Benedict is a classic technical wrestler. And indeed, whoever scores the win here tonight, got to be considered a top contender for that British Championship belt. But as I was saying, Tex Benedict, here is a man who held that championship for many months himself. He knows what it's like to hold the gold. Some would say that losing it was the beginning of his spiral into a depression. Mendoza, on the other hand, is still young, still hungry. He has never held a championship here on LDN. Some would say he's one of the most accomplished athletes in the sport not to hold a belt.
These are dangerous days. These are dangerous days.
Despite that attitude adjustment of recent months, showing why he is a top star, a top competitor here on Capital TV, why he will always be a top name, why he'll always be a challenger for any belt, because he's got a great fundamental understanding of the rules of the sport, of the techniques necessary. He is a solid scientific star, and again, straight after that leg, straight after that knee. And if he leans back with this one, he might well get a submission. He has got the legs of Mendoza tied up. He is twisting the ankle, and he is pulling his entire body weight back on those joints, and he is using the bottom rope for good measure, for leverage, and the referee, Chris Roberts, did not see that, but you can well believe that Mendoza felt it. And again, he is going after that bottom rope, and Mendoza in absolute agony. He is trying to get the attention of the referee, but he is in so much pain he can barely speak. And again, it just doesn't matter how big you are or how powerful you are. Good scientific wrestling maneuvers will overcome They will overcome muscle any day. If you can get a hold on just right, you can make a bigger man than you submit. And Benedict might well get the submission, but he is in that bottom rope. And the referee, this time I think the referee has seen it. Well, no, he didn't see it, but Mendoza himself has got to the bottom rope and he is forced to break. Mendoza himself able to power up to that bottom rope and he got a break. And Tex Benedict not happy about that one by any means. By any stretch of the imagination. But as I was saying, traditional British wrestling rules, it doesn't matter how big you are. Mendoza's a big guy. But if you can get a powerful submission hold on just right in the center of the ring, then a small man like Tex Benedict can force a big man like Mendoza to submit in a matter of moments. And it was unfortunate for Benedict that he did not get that hold clamped on in the middle of the ring, and Mendoza was able to reach that bottom rope. And now Tex Benedict is in a world of trouble. He was backing off from Mendoza, and unfortunate ring positioning meant that he backed crotch first into that steel post. And he is counting, and well, I don't think he likes when he counts there. But my goodness, referee Chris Roberts also counting. And if he reaches 10, Benedict will lose this matchup by count-out. And I don't think he's going to want to do that, because his standings in the rankings would plummet if he were to lose a matchup by count-out here tonight. Oh my! Mendoza just toying with Benedict on the ring apron. And he's going to suplex him back into the ring. Unbelievable power there from Mike Mendoza. Look at that sprint, a delayed vertical suplex from the ring apron into the middle of the ring. Great power there from Mike Mendoza. Big leg drop to follow through. Comes off the ropes, goes to drop the knee, but Benedict gets out of the way in the nick of time. And lucky for Benedict that he had, because Mike Mendoza clearly setting Benedict up for that running power slam maneuver that he likes to use to finish his opponents with. And Benedict again going to the outside. And Mendoza, although he's hurt, is going outside after him, because he doesn't want to lose this matchup by countout either. Both men continuing the fight, and this one has become personal. This one has become personal. They both want to score a win in the middle of the ring. They both want to advance in the rankings for the British Championship. But it's a personal encounter as well. Benedict dropping that fist into the back of the neck of Mendoza. No love lost between either man. Well, Mendoza was about to have his head introduced to the ring apron, but he put the brakes on, and now he slams Benedict face first onto that apron and rolls him back into the ring. And finally, this matchup is going to return to the squared circle. And we are going to see some law and order restored, hopefully. Benedict catches Mendoza on the way back into the ring. Gets him with a big snap suplex. But rather than follow it up with a big high-impact maneuver or a cover, Tex Benedict wastes time taunting the fans and now pulling up Mendoza by the ears. He might well be in a dominant position in this stage of the contest. But if I were him, I'd look to be putting Mendoza away as soon as possible, not wasting time getting the ire of the fans. Nonetheless, Benedict is up top. Mendoza stumbling, missile drop kick. Mendoza goes down hard. He's in the middle of the ring, and Benedict needs to follow this one up with a cover in a hurry. Drags him into the middle. He is taking a long time going about this one. I don't know what he's got in mind, but he's signaling that he wants to go up top. Tex Benedict may have had Mendoza beaten after that missile drop kick. Mendoza certainly hasn't moved very far, but Tex Benedict wants to lay that punishment in. He is climbing up top, and he is not being quick about it. Standing on that middle turnbuckle, arrogantly drops the leg, and Mendoza gets out of the way. And Mendoza, by now well rested, plants Tex Benedict in the center of the ring. Mendoza's up. Big spear there from Mike Mendoza. Big spear, and that can only mean one thing, and it's not 2, 3, clean in the middle of the ring. A big win for Mike Mendoza. Look at the replay. He whips Benedict off the ropes following that spear, catches him. A beautiful power slam. 1, 2, 3, and a huge win here. What a win for Mike Mendoza. Surely now, Mendoza has got to be considered a top contender to the LDN British Championship. Tex Benedict is groggy, he can't believe it. Something else for Tex Benedict to whine about, but an impressive win for Mike Mendoza here on Capital TV. Fans, we are just about out of time. Be sure to join us next week for LDN Capital TV. Goodbye.